fun එක next level කරන dialogue fan blaster.
Tonight, on First at 9 this Saturday, the 11th of January 2025. Off to China. President Dissanayake off to China on the 14th of January. China ready to bolster ties with Sri Lanka during President Disanayake's first Chinese visit as president. The Indian connection. Indian defense advisor meets Sri Lanka's Deputy Minister of Defense. Discusses long-standing Indo-Lanka defense cooperation and anti-narcotic operations. The short-term fix. Container clearance delays continue to persist at the port of Colombo. Government to focus on utilizing private sector yards to process containers. Art of the deal. US President-elect Donald Trump spared jail time over hush money conviction. Trump to go down in history as the first convicted felon to become US President.
Chilo Dairy, Sri Lankawama, Kiren Perata. Obe Vishwasi Dino Sensorain, then Lagamati Pharmacy in Labagata Hacker.
Kanta Parisankaragato? Ape Parisan.
Asian Paints Causeway Aquasafe, Vesat Matui Gadarat Disney.
From Derana, this is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to Derana First at 9. I'm Aditya Adrisingha joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. Brought to you by the only Sri Lankan media network to rise to the pinnacle across all media platforms, recognized as the best by every survey and beloved by the people. Now on your top story tonight, President Dissanayake is scheduled to embark on his first official visit as president to China on the 14th of January. The president's visit to China comes hot off the heels of his inaugural state visit to India about a month ago. Speaking further in this regard, spokesperson of the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs reiterated China's readiness in deepening the bilateral and political ties and expanding the high-quality Belt and Road Initiative. Speaking at a press briefing yesterday, the Chinese spokesperson added that the Sri Lankan head of state will hold discussions with the Chinese president and premier, among other high-level officials. The upcoming visit will be President Disanayake's first visit to China after taking office. The visit is of great importance for the development of China-Sri Lanka relations. During the visit, President Xi Jinping will hold talks with President Dissanayake. Premier Li Qiang and Chairman Zhao Leji of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress are also scheduled to meet him. China and Sri Lanka have long been each other's friend and close neighbor. China stands ready to work with Sri Lanka through the upcoming visit to execute our time-honored friendship and to deepen our political and mutual trust. We also hope to expand high-quality Belt and Road cooperation and practical cooperation in various fields for continuous new progress in advancing China-Sri Lanka strategic cooperative partnerships featuring sincerity, mutual support and everlasting friendship, as well as more benefits for the two nations.
The visit will be his second official state visit abroad following his inaugural visit to India, which took place about a month ago.
Union Assurance.
Welcome to Cinnamon Life, South Asia's biggest entertainment hub, where awe awaits.
Sadaharita Plantations Limited, celebrating 22 years of your trust.
Crunchy goodness for hunger on the go.
Defense advisor of the Indian High Commission, Captain Anand Mukundan, called on Sri Lankan Deputy Minister of Defense, retired Major General Aruna Jayasekara, at the Deputy Minister's office in Colombo yesterday. Defense advisor Captain Anand Mukundan extended an official invitation to the Deputy Minister to attend the celebrations marking India's 76th Republic Day on the 26th of January. During discussions, both parties explored potential opportunities to further enhance long-standing bilateral defense cooperation between the two neighboring nations. Deputy Minister of Defence, retired Major General Arun Jayasekara emphasized the significance of fostering people-to-people connections between the two nations and commended India's continued military assistance and support in anti-narcotics operations in Sri Lanka. Now, in a historic step towards promoting Hindi education in Sri Lanka, the island nation's first certificate course in Hindi through open and distance learning was launched as a collaborative effort between the Open University of Sri Lanka and the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Centre, the cultural arm of the Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka. Addressing the gathering at the launch, Deputy Minister of Education Dr. Madhura Seneviratne noted that Sri Lanka aims to increase the number of students learning Hindi as a language across all schools and universities. Meanwhile, the first high-level roundtable on India-Sri Lanka partnership brought together experts, policymakers and thought leaders to discuss Indo-Sri Lanka bilateral relations and means of bolstering cooperation between the two nations.
Sri Lanka's first certificate course in Hindi through open and distance learning was launched yesterday under the patronage of Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha. The launch took place during the Bharat Sri Lanka Hindi Sammelan, organised by the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Centre, the cultural arm of the Indian High Commission in Colombo. The event commemorated the 50th anniversary celebrations of the World Hindi Day. The certificate course, a collaborative initiative between the Open University of Sri Lanka and the SVCC, aims to make Hindi learning more accessible nationwide. The program marks a new milestone in academic cooperation between India and Sri Lanka.
Our country, 88 schools and 9 universities, we are sharing this teaching of Hindi language. We like to further enhance number of scholars and number of students with enhancing the teaching of language in various universities. Near future, we are planning to implement Open University, this regional ties, bonds, strengthening with this kind of a language. Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, there's a Hindi service. It also has glorious history, almost 50 years.
श्रीलंका के स्कूलों में हिंदी के शिक्षक, विश्वविद्यालयों, स्कूलों और हिंदी संस्थानों के छात्र.
In 2023 and 2024, the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Centre organised several programs to promote Hindi in Sri Lanka. 57 Sri Lankan students were given full scholarships to learn Hindi for 9 months in a residential diploma program at the Central Institute of Hindi in Agra, India. 5 Sri Lankan scholars were sent to Fiji to participate in the 12th International Hindi Conference. 3 toppers of the Hindi degree programs at the universities of Kelaniya, Sabaragamu and Rajarata were sent to India under the World Hindi Tour program. A new ICCR chair professorship was established at the University of Sabaragamu, soon to be joined by a professor from the Central University of Rajasthan. About 1,000 Hindi books, paintings by Hindi literateurs and photographs of incredible India were distributed to universities and some schools in Sri Lanka. A Buddhist monk who is a Hindi scholar was also sent to India under the Buddha Bhumi Vandan Yatra program. The Hindi Mitra Mandal of Sri Lanka was revived and monthly programs were organised with lectures on various areas of Hindi literature. In the last 2 years, 75 Sri Lankan police officers were trained in spoken Hindi. The centre facilitated Hindi scholars to pursue their PhDs in India. The Cultural Centre also conducted a refresher course for all Hindi teachers of 88 schools in Sri Lanka, where Hindi is taught as a foreign language.
नवयुवक और नवयुवतियां यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं. मुझे अत्यंत हर्ष हो रहा है कि वो आज यहाँ.
Meanwhile, the first ever high-level roundtable on India-Sri Lanka partnership was held in Colombo yesterday. The roundtable was organised by the Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka. The event brought together experts, policymakers and thought leaders aimed at discussing key aspects of Indo-Sri Lanka bilateral relations and to propose pathways for enhanced cooperation between the two nations. The roundtable explored diverse topics, including the geopolitical context for bilateral relations, the evolution of political ties, interlinked and mutual security and cultural links. Discussions delved into a roadmap for the future, focusing on physical and energy connectivity, digital connectivity, trade and investment potential, and strategies for sustainable development without debt dependency.
Fast track your career from O-levels with eSoft.
Diabetol, සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට අමතක නොවන පෝෂණය.
Prime Group ලංකාවේ ප්‍රථම වතාවට හඳුන්වා දෙන land leasing ලේසියෙන් මීටමක්. Single 1111 up to 60% off from the 11th November to the 17th of November.
Kalani wire kisiginnak ne.
කිසිගින්නක් නෑ. කැලනි Fire Shield Wire.
This season, get up to 25% discount on Arpico Foam and Spring mattresses. Available at Arpico Supercenters.
Now in your political updates, Sri Lanka's opposition collectively decided to boycott the Committee on Public Enterprise and other parliamentary committees, alleging violations of traditional procedure in the appointment of members to the said committees. Parliamentarian of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, Ajit P. Pereira, noted that although the appointment of the COPE chairman was presented as unanimous, it was conducted solely with the participation of ruling party MPs, excluding opposition members. MP Pereira asserted that the opposition will not engage in other parliamentary committees. Now, leader of the United National Party, former President Ranil Wickremesinghe, asserted that the unification of the United National Party and the Samagi Jana Balawegaya to collectively form the United National Front does not go down as a loss for the SJB and a victory for the UNP. Former President Ranil Wickremesinghe further noted that working together to form the United National Front is crucial to ensure political victory, regardless of who would lead the new party.
Several former members of the Kaduwala Municipal Council affiliated with the Samagi Jana Balawegaya met with leader of the United National Party, former President Ranil Wickremesinghe, yesterday afternoon.
අලිය ලකුණ ඔබතුමාල්ලා මිල්ලන ගැන මම බොහොම සතුටු වෙනවා. පක්ෂ දෙක එකතු වෙලා ඉන්න කාලේ තව විපක්ෂයකට එන්න ඉඩක් තිබ්බේ නැහැ. දෙකට බෙදිච්ච හින්දා තමයි අද තව පක්ෂයක් එල්ල දැන් අද ආණ්ඩු පක්ෂයක් පිටවලා. ඉතින් මේක තමයි අපින් වෙච්ච දේ. අද අපිට ඒව තේරෙනවා.
මේ අවදානම අපි කලින් ඉඳලා දැක්කා. අපි දෙගොල්ලෝ එකතු වුණාම කියන එක සමහර අය කල්පනා කරන්නේ නැහැ. මේක බොහොම පොඩි දෙයක් නේ මන්ත්‍රීතුමා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය තමයි දෙපැත්තෙම ඉන්නේ. ඉතින් මේක තමයි මුළු රටේම මතය.
මට මතක් වුණේ 1991 අපේ පක්ෂේ දෙකට කැඩෙන්න තිබුණා දෝෂ අභියෝගයෙන්. අද මෙතෙන්ට ඔබ පැමිණීම එක අතකින් අපි හිතන්න හොඳ නෑ මේක සජබේ පරාජයක් කියලාවත් එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ විශාල ජයග්‍රහණයක් අනිත් පැත්ත පරාජයක. ඒක නෑ. එහෙම හිතන්න එපා. ඔබ කිව්වේ එක්සත් ජාතික පෙරමුණක් ඇති කරන්න කියලා. එතකොට මේ පක්ෂ ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා. දැන් තියෙන්නේ වෙන එකක් නෙමෙයි අර අලියෝ ඇතාව ශක්තිමත් කරන්න පැමිණීම ගැන. මේ සතිය ඊළඟ සතිය තුලදී කඩුවෙල ආසනය ඇතුලේ මේක සාර්ථක කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ රටට යන්න. ඒක ඔක්කොම පක්ෂ එනකොට ඒ නායකයාට තියන්න පුළුවන්. බැහැල වැඩ කරලා දිඩන එකනේ තියෙන්නේ.
Now, island-wide cleanup campaigns were carried out today under the government's Clean Sri Lanka initiative, including a cleanup campaign at the Police Field Force headquarters in Colombo. A cleanup campaign was also initiated in Alla, a world-renowned tourist destination in Sri Lanka, under the Clean Sri Lanka initiative. Meanwhile, a special program was held to raise awareness about the newly launched e-traffic app, which will encourage citizens to to aid law enforcement officials in preventing traffic violations.
Under the Clean Sri Lanka initiative, clean-up campaigns continued across the country today as well. A clean-up campaign was carried out at the Police Field Force headquarters in Colombo today. In the meantime, clean-up campaigns under the Clean Sri Lanka initiative also commenced in several prisons across the country. The clean-up is expected to continue for a week. The campaign took place in the Valikada prison, the Pallekale open prison camp and the Kalutara and Matara prisons. A clean-up campaign of the Clean Sri Lanka initiative was carried out today in Alla, the globally renowned tourist hotspot, with the participation of the Alla Police and the Alla Divisional Secretariat. The police also took the opportunity to inform tourists visiting the area of the new government initiative. Meanwhile, a special program was held yesterday to raise awareness regarding the newly launched e-traffic app. The new app was launched to encourage citizens to aid law enforcement authorities in curbing traffic violations committed by motorists.
වර්තමාන රාජකාරිවල දැන්ට නිරත වෙලා තිබෙන පොලිස් ස්ථාන 607 ඉන්න නිලධාරීන් 8500කට ආසන්න සංඛ්‍යාවක් අපි මෙම යෙදවීම සඳහා දැනට ඇතුළත් කරගෙන අවසන්.
Subsequently, the police media spokesperson revealed how the police will process the complaints lodged by the users of the app.
අද උදෑසන මහරගම් ප්‍රදේශයේ ලොරි රථයක් සම්බන්ධ පැමිණිල්ලක් e-traffic app එක හරහා පොලිස් මූලස්ථානය වෙත ලැබී තිබෙනවා. මේ තිබෙන්නේ පැමිණිල්ලට අදාළ ඡායාරූපය. ඊට අදාළ අපි නිවැරදි ස්ථානය හඳුනා ගැනීමක් කරනවා. ආසන්නවම සිටි රථවාහන නිලධාරියා වෙනිකව සම්බන්ධ කරගෙන අපි ඔහුට දැනුම් දෙනවා ඒක ඉක්මනින් ඉදිරි ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීමට කටයුතු කරන්න කියලා.
Meanwhile, government representatives addressed various claims made against the Clean Sri Lanka initiative.
Environment, social සහ ethics කියන පැත්තෙන් ජනතාවත් රටත් ඉදිරියට ගන්නේ කොහොමද කියන වැඩක්. දැනට තියෙන නීති ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීමවත් පරිසරය පිළිසිදු කිරීමවත් නෙමෙයි. මේ වැඩ පිළිවෙල දැනට මහ පොළොවේ දියත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අපේ පැත්තේ අඩුපාඩුවක් තියෙනවා සංනිවේදනයේ. මේ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එක මේ මාසේ අග වෙනකොට පටන් ගන්න තමයි.
උපදිනාගේ දවස් වෙලා තිබුණේ ක්ලීන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා කියන ට්‍රේවිල් වල බස් වල කෑලි ගලවන එක තියෙනවා.
පොලිසිය ඒගොල්ලෝ මෙතෙක් කල කර හිටපු ක්‍රියාදාමයන් තීව්‍ර කරා. එතකොට ඔවුන් හිතුවා ඔවුන්ගේ මේ ක්ලීන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එකට දායකත්වය ඒක කියලා. අපි කවදාවත් කොහෙවත් රජයේ නියෝගයක් දීලා නැහැ. ඒ විදිහට ජනතාව අපහසුපත් කරන්න කියලා. ඉතින් ඒක ඉදිරියට හරියයි.
මම හිතන්නේ පැහැදිලි උපදේශ යලිත් පොලිස් දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවට පොලිසිය භාර අමාත්‍යාංශයේ ලේකම්වරයා ලබා දීලා තිනවා. ඒ ගයිඩ්ලයින් යටතේ කටයුතු කරා.
Now, the deadline for the period during which permission was granted for the import of rice by the private sector expired at midnight yesterday. As the deadline ends, a total of 167,000 metric tons of rice had been imported into the country. The government had granted special permission for importers to address the shortage of nadu rice and raw rice in the local market. Since permission was granted on the 4th of December, the total quantity of imported rice cleared from the port by Sri Lanka Customs reached 167,000 metric tons. This includes 66,000 metric tons of raw rice and 101 metric tons of nadu rice. According to Additional Director General of Sri Lanka Customs and media spokesperson of the same department, Sivaliaru Goda, another consignment of rice imported by the Sri Lanka State Trading Corporation is scheduled to arrive in the country and special permission will be required to clear this shipment. Now, the foundation stone was laid to construct a new building at the Aluyatawala Primary School in Mahiyanganaya. The school equipment required for the new building and stationery for students of the college will be donated by TV Derana's humanitarian arm, Manusat Derana.
Breaking ceremony to kick off the construction of a new building of the Aluyatawala Primary School in Mahiyanganaya was held recently. The ceremony of the new building was held yesterday under the patronage of Venerable Thalgamwe Dhammakiti Thera, the chief incumbent of the Korea Sri Lanka Mahaviharaya, chief incumbent of the Sandagiri Mahasaya in Hantana, Venerable Gangasiripura Dhammaloka Thera, the executive director of the Derana Media Network Madhava Madawala, and deputy chairman of the Derana Media Network Laksiri Wickremage. Manusat Derana will provide all school supplies, including desks and chairs required for the new building and stationery for the students for the upcoming term.
මේක ප්‍රධාන ශාලාව විදියට පවත්වාගෙන යන්නත් ඒ වගේම පන්ති කාමර දෙකක් පවත්වා ගන්නත් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා කිව්වා. මේ පන්ති කාමර දෙක සඳහා අවශ්‍ය ඩෙස්ක් පුටු ඇතුළු සියලුම දේවල් අපි දෙරණ මාධ්‍ය ජාලය වගින් පරිත්‍යාග කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම මේ සියලුම සිසුන්ට ඊළඟ වාරය පටන් ගන්නවා. ඒ දියලු දිනාට අවශ්‍ය පොත්පත් ඇතුළු පාවාහන් සියලු දේ අපසත් දෙන්න වැඩසටහන මගින් ලබා දෙන්න මම පොරොන්දු වෙනවා.
Welcome back. Now in your business news, concerns were raised of the delay in container clearance at the port premises, resulting in various hardships for container drivers, prompting several other issues affecting the trade and lives of container truck drivers. Additional Director General of Sri Lanka Customs and Media spokesperson Sivaliaru Goda stated that the lack of space and facilities for container inspection at the premises were identified as the main reasons which left container transport vehicles stranded at the customs terminal. Aruguda further announced that the government plans to use private sector yards as a short-term solution for inspection of container trucks.
During the past few days, long queues of container trucks were seen at the customs terminal in Orugodawatha over issues pertaining to the clearance of imported containers. Container truck drivers claim that around 1,800 to 2,000 containers were dispatched daily a year ago, while only 900 to 1,100 containers are being dispatched per day at the moment. The container drivers also point out that the delay in the cargo clearance has prompted several other issues affecting their trade and lives. Against this backdrop, Additional Director General of Sri Lanka Customs and Media spokesperson Sivali Arugoda said that the causes for the delay in container clearance have already been identified. According to Arugoda, the lack of space and facilities for container inspection at the premises are at the epicenter of the issue. Issuing a statement, the customs spokesperson stated that out of the 1,500 to 3,000 containers which are imported daily, only 35% to 40% are being selected for physical inspection. The spokesperson of Sri Lanka Customs added that the incumbent government aims to provide a permanent solution for this issue through the relocation of container goods inspection activities to Kerawalapitia to ease congestion as well as to improve efficiency and capacity.
Now issuing a special Gazet notification today, the government announced new excise duty rates for vehicle imports effective immediately. The Gazet was signed by the President in his capacity as Minister of Finance and Economic Development as Sri Lanka resumes vehicle imports in February after a 5-year suspension. Under the new policy, excise duties ranged from 200% to 300% for vehicles that are not more than 10 years old from the date of their manufacture. The rates are determined based on the engine cylinder capacity and motor power. For passenger vehicles, duties range from 200% to 300% for vehicles not exceeding 10 years from their date of manufacture. For modified vehicles under specific headings, such as those carrying fewer than 13 passengers, face duties of 300% if modified and less than 2 years old. Per engine capacity based rates, passenger vehicles between 1000cc and 1500cc are taxed at 3,850 rupees to 4,450 rupees per cubic centimetre, while larger engines exceeding 3000cc are levied up to 13,300 rupees per cc depending on their age. Additional rates apply to hybrid and electric vehicles with duties based on motor types and battery capacities. Vehicles with only electric motors face duties of 200% for those older than 3.5 years and up to 300% for newer units. Now in other business news, Indian low-cost airline Indigo became the largest foreign carrier operating out of Sri Lanka with 54 weekly flights between India and Sri Lanka. Indigo's expanded operations include flights to Colombo and Jaffna from major Indian hubs Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai and Hyderabad. Indigo's increased frequency of flights aims to cater to growing demand for travel between the two nations, particularly in light of the rise in Indian tourist arrivals to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka in recent years has seen a surge in Indian tourists, with over 200,000 visitors in early 2024 alone. Now, US President-elect Donald Trump was spared jail time or any other punishment for his criminal conviction in New York hush money case yesterday. However, the president-elect will still take office as the first US president with a felony conviction. Appearing via video call, President-elect Donald Trump pleaded not guilty and has vowed to appeal the verdict after a jury convicted him of legally hiding payments to adult film actor Stormy Daniels to buy her silence about what she says was a sexual encounter with Trump, who denies it. The ruling, which comes just before Trump's inauguration on the 20th of January, marks the culmination of the first ever criminal case brought against a US president, past or present. That's all the news we have for you tonight. For further updates, stay in touch with Ada Derana, the nation's most trusted news source. Thank you. Have a great night.
For news and information you can trust 24 hours a day, visit adaderana.lk.